This is K-Rockcast, the podcast where music and perspectives collide.
I'm Anne, a music lover who's the ultimate fan.
And I'm Kelly, a professional musician. Join us as we dive into the world of the Rose and other Korean and Asian rock bands.
Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we'll wildly disagree, but what's guaranteed is a passionate, hilarious, and unfiltered conversation about the music that unites us and the bands that inspire us.
On today's show,
Everybody, welcome back. Kelly, I'm excited. This is our inaugural full episode in video.
I know.
This is so exciting.
Can I run now? Do we have to do this? Can we not just sit in our pajamas and do the podcast like we normally do?
I know. This is a hell of a lot more work than it was before because we have to think about what are we wearing? How do we look? What the hell's behind us? People are going to be nosy into our rooms, already looking at our stuff on the wall.
I know. Mine's a collection of nerds, so there you go. If you didn't know me before, you do now.
But listeners and viewers, so hopefully people are viewing this on the various streaming platforms in addition to listening to us. This is our kind of inaugural episode. We've been putting out smaller bits of content as video to test the waters, but we're excited to present this to you. We have a fun episode today. This is episode 25, Into the Wardrobe. We're going to have a guest on with us in a moment, but we're going to jump into our artist recommendations. Kelly has two artists for us and one that's a little bit of a different type of artist than we've spotlighted before. So I'm really excited for you to share that second artist with our listeners and viewers. So Kelly, why don't you kick us off?
Well, actually, both of them are slightly different. So I think I killed people last time with my artist recommendation. Well, I mean, come on, you know I'm a metal girl at heart, so I just thought, let's put Darren Gray on. People have got to love them.
I think your Darren Gray segment was 15 minutes long because you waffled on because you love them so much.
I'm not saying anything. I love them. It's as simple as that. Come on, there's a reason behind it. But anyway, so this time I've decided I'm going to do two artists and two. They're not new artists. They have both been around for a while, but they're two very different artists. So the first one I'm going to introduce you to is Seoul-born, LA-based singer-songwriter Juju Be Good. Now, Juju Be Good is like the ultimate DIY artist. Honestly, the man does everything. Now, this is where he might test some of you. He is the ultimate genre bending musician. Literally, he encapsulates everything from rock through to funk, through to soul, through to jazz. I mean, there's dance music in there. I mean, kitchen sink, let's just throw it at it as well. Everything he does is brilliant, though. So, like, for example, he did a really beautiful track called Sweet Sonora. And it's this blurring cross and blend between, like, early 80s Fleetwood Mac and Nick Cave. So if anybody knows either of those artists, I mean, that's going to throw you. But, I mean, you can hear that gorgeous, like, Fleetwood Mac sound and warmth and just that tail end of 70s into 80s. And then you've just got this darkness that's kind of creeps in, which is kind of Nick Cave and something really nice about it. Now, so some of our viewers and listeners, I'm quite sure are K-drama lovers as well, because it kind of goes hand in hand. And if you're very eagle-eyed or eared, you may well have heard of his name before. And that's because one of his tracks is on XO Kitty. And he did a truly awesome remix of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Now, this is the Tears for Fears song, and I love it. I blame my dad for that one. It was something that was always on in the car. Yeah. I know every single word and every single note. So when I first heard that on XO Kitty, I was a bit like, oh, okay. And then when I realised this is who it was, it's like, okay, this makes sense. But if you've heard that track, you know that that's very different from what I've just described. He is fantastic.
Mm.
Well worth sorting out. If you're in the LA area, he continually does shows. So check out all of his social media and
Mm.
have a look and go and see him. I mean, all intents and purposes, the guy is fantastic live. I'm afraid to say I missed him when I was over in LA last time. Next
Mm.
time, I'm hoping and
Yeah.
praying I might be able to catch him when he's over there. So, since 2019, he released 2 EPs. So there's a right here we go again. So there's a sci-fi influenced Future Boy, and then we go very heavily romantic, and then we get Garden, and that one again just sort of twists things. And then we get
Mm.
Smile You're on Camera, which is basically the last album that he wrote, and it's so good, and it's just really, there's such depth to it. And I mean, he's not frightened of
Mm.
throwing everything in and having a go at it. So his next adventures is Greetings From, and that's apparently a self-reflection of voyage of exploration and anxiety. Can you see where the Nick Cave's coming in
Mm.
here? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. There's lots of different styles and everything else in there. So if you like something a little different and it isn't heavy by any stretch of the imagination, you can put this on and potter around the house. But you'll find yourself kind of grooving to it as you go. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I think that's a great recommendation because I like that you kind of found somebody that's a little more experimental.
Yeah,
Lots of different kind of genres. It sounds like that he encapsulates within his music. That would have been big for him as a very indie artist to get on that soundtrack. XO Kitty,
huge.
that was a pretty
Yeah,
big hit on
yeah. I mean,
Netflix.
to get onto
So good for
Netflix
him.
is a huge thing, and yeah, he's definitely an artist that is worth looking at and worth listening to. I think everybody will find. I mean, if you don't like sort of like sometimes he'll go down the soul and funk and jazz infused sort of side of things. If you don't like that, don't worry because I think there'll be tracks in his catalogue that you'll enjoy anyway. So always worth a listen,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So the next artist that I am going to talk about, and I'm going to mess with your heads a little bit. So this is something completely different, and this is Michael Kim-Sheng. He is a classical composer.
Mm.
Now, one thing, I like all types of music, but original soundtracks for movies are one of my favourite things in the world. And I do love classical music. It was something that was always in the house, so I do resonate very much towards it. And I found Michael, weirdly enough, on my Instagram algorithm, and this really beautiful piano piece came on. And it was like, okay, I like this. And I dived into it. His work is beautiful, it is heartfelt, there is a resonance within it that you just want to absorb. It's so lovely.
Mm.
So, Michael was born into a very musical family and he began playing piano at the very tender age of 4. So,
Wow, 4.
4. 4. I mean, that's just
Wow.
showing off, isn't it? I mean, most of us stumble into things when we're sort of like
Yeah.
early teens, but no, 4, let's just put that out there. He came from a household that was very much there was an influence all the time of people like Chopin and Debussy, and all of these things were played at home. So it's going to sink in, and it's going to make you who you are. But as he got a little bit older, when the hormones kick in, he decided he was going to diversify a little bit, and then he picked up the electric guitar and learnt the drums. I mean, we've got to
That sounds like a
rebel.
very teenager thing to
It's a
do.
very teenager thing, we've got to rebel. But one of the things that happened was this actually helped him develop his sound because he isn't what I would refer
Mm.
to as a traditional classical composer. Yes, he may have come from the stock of the 20th century greats, but he doesn't stick to it. It's got that slight twist. Now, what he's done is it's beautiful sort of compositions for somewhere between the very sort of quite beautifully phrased, and then it's got this undertow of it which you can't quite understand where it comes into, but it's fantastic and it's well worth a listen. So he was classically trained, obviously, you kind of expect that, and he was educated at the Jacobean School for Music, and then he went to the McGill University, and he won the SOCAN Grand Prize for Emerging Composer in 2018. And I mean, that's huge. That says something. To be able to win that level of composition is unreal. So his debut album, Heaven of Lavender, was released in 2019, and then Heavy Moon followed in 2021. His latest single, Onward, is an absolute thing of beauty. So if you like Dario Marinelli, who did the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack, which some of you may know, the Dawn piece of music, which has that fantastic piece of piano, and Ludovico Einaudi, you will love this. And I think you'd really enjoy it. So if you want something calm and reflective, go and give Michael Kim-Sheng a listen.
Yeah, you sent me the Onward song to listen to, and it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I love that you put this in as kind of a new, different type of artist for us to highlight. So yeah, definitely give it a listen.
I think it's important to understand different types of music. Don't just listen to pop, because if you can listen to different types of music, you can appreciate what your favorite artists do at more of a level. So if you can listen to classical, you can kind of understand where some of the piano comes from out of the Rose and some of these other great rock bands. It's there. It gives you an education. So give it a listen. It might surprise you.
Yeah, I love that, Kelly. All right, let's jump into our deep dive. Kelly, I am so excited about this episode. We are joined by Cheryl from Wusong's Wardrobe. Yay,
Hiya,
Cheryl!
Cheryl.
We're
Hi.
so excited. We're so excited to have you on K Rock Cast. We are diving into the best and the worst looks of the Rose over the years. This is going to be so fun. So, Cheryl, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Cheryl. So the wardrobe actually has a person behind it, and yes, like Anne said, my I started the account Wu Song's Wardrobe mainly because I love the rose, I love Wu Song, and I love fashion. And I think the rock star that is Wu Song has just been really making a scene whenever he makes an appearance, or even when he's just out on the streets. He's always wearing something that's worth talking about. So why not, right? Have an account, and I'm sure a lot of people are very interested to find out what he wears.
Yeah, you do a great job of really investigating and finding these outfits. What's your strategy? What's your secret, if you're able to share?
Um, I think it is a combination of technology as well as intel. And sometimes, you never discount the fact that, you could actually just kind of like zoom in and just be like, really, really detail oriented, and like, spot little things in the clothing that they wear, and then, go find it.
I love that. I love it. So yeah, listeners, if you're not following Wusong's Wardrobe on Instagram, what's your handle, Cheryl? Tell us your handle.
It is at Wusong's Wardrobe.
Nice. So definitely give it a follow. I love looking at all of the fashion and then seeing when you find, oh, it's this brand and you can buy it here. I just love that. So thank you for your great work, and thank you today. We are going to dig in, as I said, into the fashion. I can't wait to see where we agree and where we disagree. So this is going to be fun. I think we're going to agree on some things, but I think, as Kelly and I tend to do at times in this podcast, we wildly disagree. And so hopefully it'll give some good discussion here. And I have a feeling, Kelly, with you and I, we're going to get the burners going because I think there's going to be some good roasting happening in some of these looks.
Me? Are you assuming that I'm
Never
going to ever come out with anything that's... No, I'm loveliness personified.
All right. Well, listeners, we have select categories we're going to go through. And because we're wrapping up the world tour, I guess when this episode airs, it's already going to be over, which is so sad.
Yeah.
It wasn't long enough. But there were some incredible looks on this tour. This tour, Cheryl, was styled by Clive. And so we're going to go through the best because I think this was hard personally. I think he did a good job. What do you ladies think overall?
There were probably some there probably were some hits and some misses, but definitely I think, kudos to him. He definitely stepped up to the plate, and he definitely gave us some really good fashion moments on stage.
Yeah, because I don't know his background. I mean, I don't know enough about him, a lot about him, but I don't think he has much of a fashion background. So I think overall he did a good job. So we're going to start with Woo-sung. These are his best looks. These are our picks. I got to admit, I found this hard to narrow down because I think he had more hits than misses. This was my first pick. And I can't say, I mean, Woo-sung in red is always going to be a pick for me, personally. Like, the man just looks incredible in red. What do you guys think of this one?
I love this one. I love this one. I thought this was a fantastic look. The colour was bang on. It's exactly what it's ideal for him. I thought he looked fantastic, and I shall just leave it at there because you don't want me waxing lyrical. I can't be positive.
Yeah, you don't. It gets
British.
creepy when you compliment him too much. I don't like it.
No. Come on, I can't compliment him too much. Come on.
I like the texture of this shirt too.
Yes,
I got to look at it. Yeah, I got to look at it up close, and it's really nice. It's a really nice jacket, and it looks like it's really comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, it's more like a jacket than a shirt because it did have a zipper, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The next one was, I think, ladies, this was a sweep.
Yes.
Was this a sweep? Can we all just say this man? He caused a stir on social media.
Yeah.
Clive, hats off, sir. Hats off. And this is so simple, right?
But that's the thing.
What was it about this outfit?
Don't you normally find that simple is best with him? Or I always do anyway. I think overdressing me looks ridiculous. Simple, clean lines that flatter his form. Perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like his because whenever he wears something that is simpler, his makeup gets more defined, and then just literally just glows, right?
Yeah, I think what you said, Kelly, like it fit his form very well. He tends to lean into very baggy clothing that hide his shape, but this was very form-fitting. The ribbing, the vertical ribbing, and then that beautiful like white detail around the seams just really, it made it stand out. So it wasn't all monochrome,
which is
black.
very, very clever because you're going back to like the idea of a raglan tee. The whole idea about a raglan tee was it was to make athletes look broader across the shoulders. So actually, it defines his silhouette even better.
Yeah, and Cheryl, if you have not listened to the podcast, you will know right now. I love this man with his hair slicked back, full forehead. Give me full forehead.
Here we go.
Please. And it was like, this hair was like perfect. Kudos to whoever does his hair. It is just, he looks stunning.
Yeah. And I'm very sure that, he definitely decided to actually have his hair back with this outfit because he's always saying that he doesn't like it when his hair gets in the way. Like he hates it when it touches his face. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he requested for this.
Yeah, and I think he needed hair back, made it look a little more formal than if he had like the hat. So he likes to wear his hat because that also, as you said, Cheryl, keeps his hair out of his face. But yeah, I think hair back made it look more formal. It just looks stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this one was yours, right, Kelly? This
Yeah,
blue.
yeah, it is. Because there is just something about dusky blue that really suits him. And he gets away with it. I mean, he did it Tribeca as well. Spoiler alert for a later bit. But yeah, blue is one of his colours, and it really defines him so well. I mean, obviously, we know where the won't say shirt, where the blouse is from, because we do have to point this out. A lot of the time, the guys do, especially Sam, he gets put into women's clothing, and but this one fits so well, to be honest, and it just flowed and he looked comfortable in it. So yeah, I was a fan of this one.
He's worn this a lot on the tour, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, at least 3 to 4
yeah,
shows.
I think it's because it's light
So
and
I think he must
comfortable.
like it too.
Yeah, exactly. It's blue. He likes blue. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked nice here. And again, look at the hair. Gonna say,
Yeah, I
all
know.
these have that slick back hair.
Come on,
I
I'm in
love it.
agreement with you. I'm not saying anything. I'm in agreement with the hair. I just find it hilarious.
Cheryl.
That's
Cheryl.
favorite.
Cheryl. Is he? I'm sorry. Is he wearing? He's actually wearing clothes here. Because I'm sorry, I can't get past the top part of this photo.
Here we go.
Well, like I said, right, whenever he wears
What's content alert?
he just has
Again.
these like very
We're here.
makeup refined. Yeah. And
Can I ask this? Because I might be slightly colorblind, Cheryl.
Mhm.
Was this deep navy or is this black?
It's black.
Okay,
the
because
top
I feel like
is
I
black.
thought it was
It's
deep
black.
navy when I was first seeing it.
Oh, maybe it's the
No,
lighting on the stage,
it's-
but it's
yeah.
black. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it's black.
It is. You're colourblind, woman.
I know. Did you liked this with the trousers? Thank you, Kelly. Did you see that? I did not say
You
the
said
P
trousers.
word.
You said, yeah, you said trousers. You did say the P word. Good girl. He's not there in his jockey shorts. We're good.
I'm learning, Cheryl. I'm learning. You liked this, Cheryl, more with his slacks than the jeans that he had,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's also because, it's actually quite simple if you think about it. It's a casual tank top inside that's striped, and then he's got this cardigan over, and then it's in a way it's quite casual. You could wear this out, on a day out town, but then because it's Wusong, right, and he's got his whole hairdo, his makeup, and his whole swagger. It just adds a touch of glam, and I think it's just so appropriate for Paris.
Yeah, it was definitely appropriate for Paris. So he wore this in New York with the jeans. And then it was interesting when he went back for that solo event for Samsung, he wore it with the jeans. And in that time, he did the shaggy hair. So it's so fascinating. This will be maybe part 2 of this show, is like digging into the hair, right? How the hair impacts the look, whether it's more formal.
I know that you can
or,
literally just talk about
less
people's
formal
hair for an hour. I know.
Yeah.
You can literally.
I mean, I can talk about Hajun's hair for an hour too.
Well, okay, fair enough. But even so, one of the
I'm
things
pretty sure he likes this look as well, because he's won this at least 4 times so far, I think.
yes,
I
And,
think so.
Yeah, so you can tell that he really likes this look.
yeah. My only issue with this look is the cardigan, and it's not because I don't like the cardigan, because I hate to say it. There's an issue here. I am starting to recognise the fact that I think they've been through my entire jumper and cardigan collection, because I do have a cardi that's very similar to this, apart from it's cropped. And I sort of looked at it and I thought, oh,
Don't you?
and I can say it will be an exceptionally comfortable cardigan to wear. My only problem with it is because obviously, again, it's a woman's cardigan. It's too tight on his shoulders. And it drives me insane. It's just like, come on, you could have just gone up a size. I know you want to pinch it in. So if somebody knows how to use a sewing machine on the team, just bring it in ever so slightly. But yeah, I mean, especially, it doesn't look bad from the front, but when you sort of see him from the back, he kind of looks hunched in it. And it's just like, that's my only reservation about this one look. The fit of the cardi.
I mean, I think if, when Roy was styling, I mean, he has, obviously, he's a profession as a stylist, and I mean, I think he can pull out that sewing machine. I don't know. I mean, I don't see Clive's background as that. I don't know that he would be able to alter. I think he bought all of these as they were.
But you're not.
I think they went.
There isn't somebody local in Seoul that could have sorted that one out for them. That's blokes just throwing on clothes and going, it'll do, while they're walking around like this.
Yeah. I think they went. What I like about this one too is I think it's what we said about the Seattle, the black. This is more fitted to his shape.
Yes.
And I guess they just went with that. But yeah, I mean, this was a great look. I do agree, Cheryl. I think he likes it. I think he's comfortable in it, which is why he's been wearing it.
He probably knows he looks really good in this.
And he takes those things. So I guarantee you he'll keep this in his closet. He'll take it home with him because he tends to do that too.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're moving on to Hajuni. I mean, there were so many looks for Hajuni. He kind of had a similar style all throughout. I feel like Clive didn't deviate much with his wardrobe, but this kind of look where he's just in this button down, little couple buttons unbuttoned, sleeves rolled up, jeans, this hair. It's got to have the hair like this. He had a glow up this era. Can we all recognize that? Hajuni's glow up?
Hajuni has had a full glow up
phenomenal
this year. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. He's been coming for us all. And he's been killing. Killing.
You weak mortals, obviously. You weak immortals.
Yes. He looks so good. I think I also love this picture because of him with the guitar, which we never have seen before. What a pleasure this tour was to see him from behind his drum set. I loved it. Stafford. This was the Stafford show. Kelly, I think this was your pick.
How can we not pick the Hobbit look? I mean, seriously. That Bilbo...
Now, how is this a good look if you're calling him a hobbit?
Hey! Do not disrespect Lord of the Rings. We have any of that, we're no longer friends. You know I'm a nerd. I am not having it. There's nothing wrong with hobbits.
So Hobbit look is a compliment for Hajuni?
No. He did actually state this himself. I am going to point this out. The man stated he looked like a hobbit. So we'll leave that one there. But
I liked this one too. Yeah, I liked this one too. Because again, it was kind of that same shirt style, right? Few buttons unbuttoned, giving us a little peek of that chest tattoo, which is always sexy. And then he's got the sleeves rolled up, just simple white, and that hair.
I mean,
I was digging this.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I am saying Hobbit, but there's also the other side of it. We all, and I mean, I don't know what it is, it's in the DNA, somewhere along the line. If you're British, you all have a Mr. Darcy thing or a Heathcliff thing. And Darcy and Heathcliff were always in a perfect white shirt that was unbuttoned and wayward hair. So that's all I'm saying. It is a fantastic look, and combined with the jeans and that, yeah, it's beautiful. I love that look.
Oh my God, Kelly, you're giving me a new Hajuni fantasy. Mr. Hajun as Mr. Darcy? Oh my God.
I can just see him walking around Chatsworth now. Thanks for that. You've ruined Chatsworth for me.
Oh wow. Okay, we need to move on. Engage the safe word. Moving on. Cheryl, let's go to your picks, which are two excellent picks. Look at these.
Yeah, I really like the shirt, and like you said, right, he's been wearing a lot of shirts on this tour. And this shirt's really quite interesting because if you kind of like look closely, it's got all these little floral patterns running down. They're not
Mm.
like just plain stripes. So it's really interesting, and I feel like I can't really put a finger on what the exact color is, but it just looks really good on him. And it's something that's different, and I feel like he could likely just keep this after the tour and just keep wearing it.
It's like
Yeah.
it's
I love what you're saying about that pattern.
it's like a deeper earth tone though,
Yeah,
isn't
and
it? Which does seem to suit him.
it is, and
Mm.
it's got a little bit of this iridescence to it. So I'm
Yes.
not too sure what material it is, but it really looks very good, especially on like when they have the lighting, kind of like the spotlights on him.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just looks really good.
Yeah, I think it looks beautiful against his skin tone. Yeah. I love that. All right, let's move on to Taegyum. Ladies, this was a sweep. Oh wait.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
No,
Sorry, sorry.
that's the quick. No,
I
go on.
saved the sweep one for second, I
Yeah,
think. I must have
go
saved
on
the
then.
sweep one for second. I liked this one first before we go into the one we all agreed upon. Though I think there are differing opinions on this outfit. Did you guys like this look on him?
I thought it was okay. I'm not crazy about it, but I don't hate it.
Kelly, you didn't like it, right?
No, I think it makes him look sallow. I don't
See, I just love, maybe it's because green is my favorite color. I just
possibly.
loved this green and this kind of, I don't know if it's like little sparkly piece and these nice jeans or slacks, whatever he's got going on here. Hair down that looks kind of wet. I don't know. I was digging this whole look. I was
I
into
got a
that.
feeling
Okay,
it's
I'm a
because
lone
it was
wolf on
playing
that one.
slowly at the time, more than likely.
Well,
But anyway,
okay, maybe I'm painted because
I know you.
maybe I love slowly, and that's what's making me love this picture so
I
much.
think
All
it is.
right,
I think,
we'll move on to the sweep. Sorry,
yeah,
this
clean
one.
sweep.
Yeah,
Wow, clean sweep again. Clive, hats off, sir. Hats off. This little peak, this little opening that was on his shoulder was so sexy. All
It's
right,
again.
Cheryl, break it down for us. Give us your expert
we're just
fashion
staring at the
analysis.
photo. Yeah, so yeah, you're right, because it's actually, you see that little peekaboo thing going on there. It's actually two layers to this tank top. So
Oh,
it's by this Danish brand called Helliot Emil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but they're known for this sort of like a bit of an edgy utilitarian fashion style. So I can imagine when he first saw this and when Clive first showed it to him, I'm pretty sure he said, "No, I'm not wearing it."
oh, why do you think he said that?
Because if you think about it, if you look back at the previous tour, Roy used to always style Jeff in these like he'll wear like mesh, he'll wear like these revealing
Mm,
tank tops that are like super tight, and he would always, I don't know if he's just pretending or he's really upset by it, but he'll always say that, he hates Roy because he puts him in all these, like really strange clothes that he would never wear. And I don't know if you remember, like, there was once where he, in a live, he said, like, he's starting the Hate Roy Club, and that's how.
right,
But
yeah.
no, we're part of the Love Roy Club because we thank him for putting you in all these outfits, right? So yeah, I'm pretty sure he did not want to wear it at first. But I mean, the top does all that hard work he puts in the gym. It just shows.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was form fitting. It hugged him in all the right places. It showed off all the right attributes. And then the hair. I think again, how the hair can pull everything together. His hair looked incredible.
I'm starting to get a
Well,
feeling,
this
Anne.
picture is really nice. So
I'm starting to get a feeling, Anne, that you're a hair person. That I don't know. There's something about hair that keeps coming up.
No, I think what I've learned through this experience is hair is part of the fashion. It's
Mhm.
not just about the clothes.
No, that's true.
And
It
even
is.
the makeup, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, hair changes, which we will see in a moment.
Mm.
Spoiler alert for something coming up. Hair can make or really break and break it into a shattering pieces. A look.
Something like that.
But we won't give that away. Now, he must have liked this somewhat, Cheryl, because he wore this at the Summer Sonic Tokyo.
Yeah, one of the cities. He definitely wore this again during the festival.
Yes. Yeah, he wore this again. So that's always a sign, I think, that, they like something.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on to my man Dojun. Okay, I picked this outfit. Now, where I said it was difficult to narrow down for Wusong because I think he looked incredible all tour. I gotta admit, Clive, oh, I was slim pickings on the good looks on Dojun. So, Clive, you need to step up with my man here. But I liked this, and now that I'm seeing a theme in myself, I liked this because of the form fitting. This showed off his shape, and I think Dojun's been at the gym. Black roses. Hello, this man's body is looking tight, and he looked nice in this. I think this is I don't know, what color is this, Cheryl? Obviously, we've established I'm colorblind. Is this
Well,
gray?
it looks like a bit of a black and maybe a gray or a really off-white.
Like charcoal slacks, this kind of like charcoal gray. I don't know what material this was, but I enjoyed this very much. I think it was a slim fitting look that I liked. Kelly, you went more casual, which I love this look.
And that's the thing. I think he looks better with a casual look. I really do. Just jeans and a tee look great on him. I mean, he's got the shape and the balance to wear them properly. And thankfully, I mean, the jeans aren't up underneath his nipples, which we tend to find sometimes when he wears some of his chinos. Come on. I mean, we do. I mean, it's not even dad territory sometimes with the chinos. We fall into granddad territory. It's literally like watching Carl from Up. I mean, seriously, it is.
Stop it!
It's so nice to see him in something that is right. This is going to sound absolutely terrible, but age appropriate.
Age appropriate. The man is in his 30s, not 60s. Come on, Dojun.
I'm sorry, Dojun. We love you.
Cheryl's like, I am not going to be associated with this slander.
Hey, I'm just saying, I think he looks good like this.
I think he wore this, at least the tee, multiple times throughout this tour. So he must like this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's so sweet. We love him.
One thing we've got to realise, though, about this entire tour is it's been so unbearably hot the entire tour. I don't think they've had cold days.
That's true.
So this is something that we've got to bear.
All right, Cheryl. Poor guys, I know. Cheryl, walk us through your pick for Dojun.
So, like you said, the casual look really looks better on Dojun. I think we all agree on that. And one thing about Dojun that I realized on this tour, he can actually carry off this denim on denim look. Not everyone can. You might look really like tacky.
Yeah.
But like he wore this for Sugarland, and I think just him, just wearing Levi's, and just he really looked very comfortable. You could tell that he was just really happy in what he was wearing. Nothing was too fussy or getting in the way, because Dojo moves around a lot, and again he's basically doing everything right during the concert. He's like he's on the keyboards, he's on the guitar, and he's like kind of running around. So yeah, I think this look really suits him very well.
Yeah, you're right about denim on denim. Not everybody can pull that off, but I love this.
Pull it off for sure.
Yeah.
I look
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he looked great in this. This was a good pick, Cheryl. All right, that wraps up the best looks. Get the burners going. We've already started roasting these poor men, but we're going into my favorite categories, which are the worst individual looks.
How do you?
Clive, there were some misses. I'm giving you a lot of credit. You did a great job overall, but there are some head scratchers on this tour. Let's dive into those, and we're starting with our man Woo-sang. All right, first up, ladies, this, the doily that is this man's vest. And
No,
now I know we all
no.
go ahead.
No, I just can't. I can't. No. I mean,
Okay, the doily
my
that
nan
he's
used to be a
wearing.
blanket out of these squares when I was a kid.
Can we all say we're from different countries on this call?
Yes.
Okay, we're United Nations on this call right now, but do all of us remember the behind your grandma's toilet? There was this little crocheted doll that sat over her toilet paper.
Yes.
Did we all have this?
Not me.
No, Cheryl, that wasn't in Singapore because
No.
I did.
I need to find you one and send it you.
I did. And Clive, I gotta say, the second I saw this man in this little creepy doll is exactly what came into my mind. Now, notice, Cheryl, he wore this shirt multiple times after this, but this doily never made an appearance. I think Woo-sang must have been like, this shit sucks. I am not wearing this again.
Yeah, but the shirt, I've got so many. I can go on and on about that shirt because I hate
Yeah,
it.
we'll save that because I know you have that as a whole separate nasty look.
With a
But
vengeance, I really hate it.
we'll put pause on the shirt. But now this.
Oh my God.
Come on. What? Clive, what were you smoking? Did you run out? Was the laundry not done and you had an emergency and said, we have to find just some shirt for this man to wear, and this was laying around in a dumpster and you were just pulled it out because one, it doesn't match. Like doily, I'm giving you that, Clive. Doily looks hideous, but it matches the whole tone of, Once Upon a World. Leopard print doesn't really match the whole tone of the Once Upon a World. Like, what was this? What was this? You're speechless, Cheryl.
Okay, to be fair, like we were saying earlier, it's all about the image, the entire image, like the hair, the makeup, everything kind of plays a part, right? He wore this in Toronto, if I'm not wrong. We first saw it in Toronto. It was fine. I didn't think it was terrible, but
Yes.
like this is okay. This was still quite rock star, quite like I made a joke on my IG and saying that there's a leopard on the prowl
Yes.
in Toronto, and just
Yes.
just look out and be careful. But it was fine there. But then when he got to Denver with that Ajuma hairstyle,
Okay.
and Ajuma fashion prints, oh gosh.
This is exactly, remember we talked about hair. Hair makes or break. Look at the difference in this man's hair. The rest is exactly the same. He's even wearing the same jeans.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly, you hated Toronto as well, correct?
I just hate that print. Shirt. Now, may I just point out? So the cut of the shirt, love it. Love the cut of the shirt. I think the cut of the shirt is fantastic. It suits him. I am so glad to see him in men's clothing for once. He looks fantastic. I mean, he really does. But what the hell hell is that colour against his skin tone? No, seriously, no, I can't do. No. It looks like Rod Stewart in the late 70s.
Stop it! It's the dad rock.
It's yacht rock. We are full on dad yacht rock. I can't do it. No. Leave the animal prints to the animal.
I'm with Cheryl. I think the Toronto looked more rock star to me.
It looks better.
I love the jeans.
But sweet baby Jesus, what the hell was happening the second time he wore it?
No, Denver and the dude got a fresh perm too. I mean, let's just look. Like seriously, he look like Lando.
No.
There is no difference between Lando and Sammy on the day of a fresh perm. Oh my goodness.
People,
I don't know. I think he might have been he missed his career because that's an Ajuma look.
Oh man. Yeah, that was, and the poor man, if he said that he hates in his eyes, look at it down in his face. He must have been like annoyed the whole concert. Why did he let them keep his hair like that? All right, I'll stop. I'll move on. Whew. Now, Cheryl, let's let you dig into this shirt.
Go.
Where do I start? So, okay, we've seen this shirt several times now with that doily looking, vest. And mind you, that's a very expensive vest. I will not reveal the name of the designer, but it's a very expensive vest.
Yeah, don't tell the name of the designer because I'm going to get hate mail and we're going to get like sued for slander because I said it looks hideous. I mean, it's probably $2,000. It still looks like crap, but you know.
Or a bit
back to the shirt. Sorry.
Yeah. So this shirt totally not working for him because you can see, like in Sao Paulo, he was wearing the shirt and it's crinkled. You can see that it is too big for him. It's so ill-fitting. It is not ironed properly, and I don't think it holds well. Like, you can see like the creases on his arms especially. To top it off, he was wearing striped pants. Like, what is up with that?
Yes. And he just wore this in La 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 Festival.
Yes. And that was such a bad choice because I'm pretty sure Clive decided to maybe style him in that because it looks like a thinner material and it looks really hot at the at the festival. And you could see that, it was definitely a few songs in. It was a terrible decision to put him in that because
he was drenched.
Wu Song was just sweating buckets.
He was.
And it was not a good look when you start seeing these patches. And there were moments, when he raises his arms, like, oh, okay, that's not a good look.
No, this material, Cheryl, as you're saying, it soaked up his sweat and then it turns a different color. So it's so obvious he's sweating and then it looked really bad.
Yeah, the poor guy must have been so uncomfortable. And I'm pretty sure if he could, he would have just, taken it off.
I wouldn't have been upset by that. He deserves to be comfortable.
Obviously.
Yeah, and I really don't know why. Why doesn't he say anything? Like, I can't see him liking this because the color doesn't suit him. He looks really good in reds and pinks, but this pale pink or peach, I can't really tell exactly.
I know, it kind of looks like a peach to me too.
Well, at certain points it looks a bit peach, so it's like a peachy pink.
Yeah.
It really makes him look very pale and sickly. Like pale not in a good way. Like he just looks pale.
Yeah. Is it a linen mix? Because that's what I think it is. And I think it's a linen mix material that they've given him in an attempt that he's going to be cool, and that's probably why it's been worn as much as it has in the warmer countries. But does anybody else feel that it's like when you put your colours in the washing machine, so you put like your bright red jumper in and accidentally put a pair of white knickers in and the white knickers come out like a peachy pink colour? I mean, that's basically what's happened with this shirt. It just looks so washed out. It isn't right on him at all. It actually, I think, I don't know whether you said this or not to me, Cheryl, when we were sort of having a general conversation, but I think you said he just looked like an office worker that had done a 12-hour shift and then just ended up down in about 10 soju's.
Yeah, he just doesn't work. He's like, let's go sing a few songs.
Is he at karaoke? Is he finished a long 8-hour day and he's at karaoke with his coworkers having some soju? Is that what's happening?
The tie's over there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like
the tie's off.
Yeah, like he's late for work and he doesn't have time to iron his shirt, so he just like took something out of the hamper and just threw it on and went to work.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I see everything you guys are saying. I think I just couldn't get past the doily, so I felt like the shirt was not too bad after the doily. But all right, let's move on to Hajuni. And I just have to say, I think in 24 episodes of this podcast, Kelly, this might be the first time I'm ever saying anything negative about my Hajuni, and it pains me to know and to say something negative about him.
Do I need to book you an appointment at the doctor's to get you checked out?
I think so. And I have to say, I'm only picking this actually, not because of the outfit. It's because of this hair. Yeah. What is happening on this man's head? Who allowed this to happen? And you need to be fired. I'm just kidding. You shouldn't be fired, but it's awful.
It looks a little bit sort of, I don't know. It's got that slight look of like Liza Minnelli, and I'm trying to think what the musical is where she's got the kiss curl. He's just missing the kiss curl.
Yes. That or he looks like Legolas. Well, he had long hair, but he looks like a little elf. That's what you said. He looked like a hobbit before as a compliment. I think he looks like a little elf.
Leave the elves alone. Leave the hobbits and the elves and the dragons alone.
Oh, Hajuni, don't do your... He did this a couple times with his hair throughout the show, but it was mostly, long. But
it was a little extreme on that bit.
All right, let's move on. Okay, I got beef with both of you on this look. I don't think this was a bad look.
Okay.
No, I don't like it.
The shirt, I can...
Maybe it's his O face. I can't get past his O face that's happening right now in this picture. Maybe that's what it is.
Right. Leave the O face alone. What I was going to say is the shirt I can kind of forgive, other than the fact it does look a bit Dorothy Gale, and I have a bit of an issue with that. The problem is, and I'm sure Cheryl will agree with this, and you can't see it because we couldn't find a damn photograph of him that he wasn't sat behind a drum kit. He has these really awful, muddy Sahara brown chinos on. And they're
terrible. He did in this outfit. You're right.
And they're terrible. And just the combination of the gingham and the white and this like... Right, how do I describe the colour of those chinos without... Okay, I'm just going to say it. It kind of looks like something that you would find in a nappy or a diaper. I'll have to say that for the American audience. Of a very, very young child.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
you're
nice.
right. I forgot he wore that. Like,
not nice.
Like jeans with this would have looked better.
A pair of like diesel dark jeans, amazing. Yeah. Cheryl's going to disagree.
No, I just think, not, again, it's one of those things where when it comes to patterns, especially like these like bigger, bolder patterns, like with the checks, it just doesn't suit a lot of people. And, like all the tablecloths in the diners and the restaurants, they tend to be like, this exact same check.
Yeah.
Be it blue or red.
Yeah.
No.
That's hysterical. All right, Hajuni, I'm gonna stop talking bad about you. I can't do it anymore. We're gonna move on and let's pick on Taegyum next. Okay, this was my pick. I did not like this monochrome, and I think it was the, poopy diaper color look that we just talked about. It was like this. I do not like this monochrome, this beige suit thing he had going on here. It did not suit his color
I
at
also
all.
I also
What did
have
you
a
guys think of this look?
slight problem with it because it kind of looks like, oh, heaven help me for saying this, it kind of looks like a dictator that is north of Seoul.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It's the
You're right.
monochrome suit, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
a monochrome
Look.
suit. It's the cut
It's
of the
mentioned.
jacket as well. The fact that it's
Yeah.
literally like
I can't
waist as well.
unsee it anymore. I can't unsee it.
No, I couldn't understand.
When he
And all
wore
I got,
this,
I'd literally just got sort of, I'm so lonely going through my head afterwards, and then I'm going to hell.
he also wore this in the live performance video for World, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way he
No.
looked in that either. And then when he saw it on tour, I was like, oh, Taehyung, stop. Ugh. All right. This was yours, Kelly. This is the same shirt that I liked, I think. Is this the same shirt?
So this
Yeah,
is the same
what?
shirt. Yeah, this is the same shirt that you liked, but it's actually from a different angle. So the angle that
Yeah.
you've got had got a different flash on it, and it had got different lights above it, so it looked a slightly darker green. Whereas we're picking up more of the
It did.
looks metallic detail in this, and it looks more mint, and it washes the man out. I mean, no disrespect, the shirt, again, I will say the cut, fantastic on him. It's nice to see a manly cut shirt on them. But yeah, no, not for me. That look just didn't work. I just thought it made him look ill, to be honest.
Yeah. I think you're right about the lighting. The Vienna show picture that I had as my favorite, it did make the green look much darker. All right, Cheryl, we'll move on to yours. Tell us what you don't like about this shirt.
The shirt really doesn't fit him at all, and it looks like it's a Korean designer, and it looks like it's a surf shirt, but somehow white doesn't look as good on Taegyeong as it does, let's say, on Hajun or Wusong, and I think he looks really unkempt. I feel, and maybe it's also because he got his hair down and just doesn't look, just doesn't look like a usual day for him. Because he's usually very, like he's even when he's wearing jackets or just like something more casual like a t-shirt, he still looks very put together. Also because he's got a great physique, right? But this shirt too big for him, and he just looks really like I said, unkempt. It's very untidy.
Yeah, and I thought of you because he just wore this, and I think, was it Summer Sonic Osaka? And I was like, there's that shirt that Cheryl hates. Yeah, it's too big. And what is it, bowling? Took me back to like he's going bowling.
It's either a bowling
with like
shirt.
all the other dads.
It's either a bowling shirt or a surf shirt. And I mean, I love those type of shirts. I think if you get the right size and the right colour, they look great on guys. But yeah, I'm completely Cheryl. This is too big and it's the wrong colour. If it had been I was going to say if it had been the baby blue on the collar, it would have worked. But actually, seeing that directly against his skin tone, I don't think that baby blue works either.
Yeah, this was just a miss all around. All right, let's move on to Dojun. And I think here's our next sweep, ladies. This outfit was absolutely horrid and hideous. There's so much to hate on in this outfit. Let's start with these tuxedo ruffle detail on this shirt with then the like southwestern fringe happening. Wow. What is happening with this shirt?
It's too much. Why have they put him in ruffles so many times on this tour? Because there's one I'd not even picked, and that was that bloody white cardigan that both you and I said that we had when we were about 8 years old.
No, I literally own that exact cardigan, but mine is in navy blue. I own that now in my closet. When I first saw him in that first show, I was like, "Holy cow, I own that."
I mean,
But yeah,
I literally had the whitey cream version of it when I was about 8 year old. I was just like, no, why are you wearing that? No. But this,
there's so
Sounds
much
so
happening in
good.
this shirt. It's way too busy.
there's too much
And
happening.
they're not like, yeah, it's like a party on his chest. And,
Yeah.
and if you look closely, then they're not just any ruffles. If you look really closely, it looks like they're like polka dots.
Yeah,
And
they
then at
are.
the ends, tassels. Like there are tassels on top of the ruffles.
Oh my gosh, it was way too much happening.
Oh dear.
And
And
then the pockets, right? Then it has pockets in addition.
Yeah. So
And here's this awful color we talked about, this like poop brown pants or
yeah,
trousers. Sorry, I keep trying not to say the P word.
I mean,
It was just horrible.
is it meant to be like a Sahara sand color? Because if it is, it's missed the mark. But I mean, the combination of the shirt and the trousers and the footwear, and it was just like, no, he walked out on stage, and I just went, I can't even look at him because I was too busy laughing.
I
I
was
was thinking, oh no.
it was hard. It was so hard to look at him. You're right. It was like, oh gosh, it's such an eyesore. Oh,
But
yeah.
again,
Oh, Dojun.
the actual blue of the shirt is a lovely blue colour. It's a fantastic blue colour. But with all of the
Yeah.
first year sewing session that's happened on the front. I mean, literally, somebody found Nan's sewing box, didn't they, and went, I think we need to dress this shirt up a bit. Hold on a minute, I've got ruffles. And they just decided to sew them up. And
Oh my goodness.
I just can't. No, definitely not. No.
It does look like a first year fashion student just went in and created this monstrosity. It's like the Frankenstein of shirts over here. Like, what is happening? All right, we'll move on, Dojun, because we're not done with bad looks on this tour with you. Kelly, you want to talk about this one? Dusseldorf.
Right. So, may I introduce you to Carl from Up? He is just missing the dog and a house with the balloons. Oh, why? I mean, he looks... It looks like the type of thing that my dad would have worn just when he couldn't be asked to get dressed properly. It's the type of thing that you would see somebody walking around the golf course in when they couldn't be asked to get dressed properly. Like, no, it's horrid.
Color.
And I mean,
Is
seriously,
this olive green?
Could the trousers have gone up any further?
I think it's because he's hunching. Is it because he's like hunching down that it looks that way?
no.
I
I think it's
yeah.
they're rather high waisted.
Yes. That's not a natural.
Okay, there is one redeeming feature of this picture. Do you know what it is?
I have no
Come
idea.
on, Kelly, you know me.
I have no idea.
It is that Kim Woo Sung is in the background of it. That is the only redeeming aspect of this picture.
Well, you say that, but he's got that bloody awful.
Everything else.
He's got that bloody awful gingham cardigan thing on.
You know what? We should have done that one as part of the bad. With that, I didn't like that either, and he wore that a lot, so he must have liked it.
It literally looked like a picnic blanket. No, and then it got all the pretty little flowers. And it's that type of thing. You know when you've got a friend that does embroidery and they're a bit bored and you accidentally put down something and you come back and they've like stitched your initials on something, and you're like, why the hell did you do that? I thought I'd just personalize. It literally looks like that top's been grabbed, and then they've gone, hold on a minute, I'm just doing you something special. No, 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 no.
Oh,
Next.
okay. So you're telling me there are no redeeming qualities then of this picture.
None.
All right. That was fun. Let's go back to some good looks. Now, very different styling on the Dawn to Dusk tour. This was Roy's styling, where we had Clive styling again, listeners, on the world tour. Very different looks. So let's go into our best looks. Again, we'll start with Woo-sung first. All right, this one. Oh my God. Chef's kiss. This is pure perfection in every aspect. This jacket, again, like I like the fitted look on him, nice trousers, plain black, but beautiful detail on this jacket. And then peak hair. I mean, peak perfection hair, lengthwise, poof wise, volume wise, slicked back wise. Makeup was incredible. This is like perfection in my mind, and I'll stop. So I'll get anybody else's opinion, or am I
I
alone?
I loved this look. I thought this was fantastic, actually. And it was also brought out again, wasn't it, for one of the events as well that I think he attended with Tagum. But yeah, no, this is a lovely look, and it flatters him so much, which is nice because it doesn't always flatter him.
Cheryl, do you know anything about this jacket?
No, and I think it might be because like what they were wearing throughout the Dawn to Dust tour, it looks like it's either just tailor made for them, or it could be a local designer in Korea that does
Mm.
these looks. Because if you look at how they style a lot of the groups, a lot of them wear very similar looking outfits, like suits and shirts, and it's all kind of like with like slight variations. So they might have worked with like a local designer, and since it's Roy, you can tell that he really put a lot of effort into looking at every single detail. I mean, you look at that jacket that he's wearing, aside from the pattern right on the white sleeves and the front of the vest, there are all these the trimmings, and it's like they look like diamantes. So I'm pretty sure
Mm.
you can't get something like that off the shelf because this is really elaborate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. And then I think with Roy, it was also a lot with the jewelry he put them
hmm
in.
I
Uh,
love the styling for Dawn to Dusk because it's Roy.
yeah.
The
Okay,
different.
I loved the styling so much that I had to go with my favorite cozy outfit too. Like I loved this jumper, as Kelly would say. This like sweater he had. He wore it a couple times, but this was from Vienna. I just loved this look on him. And then I can't not have a red look on Kim Woo-sung. This was great. I loved what Roy did here was this more casual red button down with the sleeves rolled up, the black jeans, but then made it he that's this necklace that he has is this beautiful it's actually a cross. Shout out to oht, the designer. Love oht. I think he might be wearing an oht necklace in the Englewood photo as well. And then the combination of that more formal necklace with the pearls, giving it a little bit of a feminine look, with then his hat. Like, I just loved the contrast of some of the pieces that Roy put together on this, but I think it came together so well. Okay, I'll stop waffling on about him. I'll let someone else talk. All right, Kelly, this is your pick, I think.
Yeah, so this is from London, and this is actually one of my photographs because this is from Wembley Arena. I thought this look was just perfectly form fitting, and it just suited him so well. I mean, it's literally just it's the black trousers that he is still wearing to these days. Those trousers will literally walk or fall off of him. We do know that, don't we? I don't know how often these trousers have gone through the wash, but they are going to fall to pieces at some point. But that really beautiful, just simple velvet jacket that was just nipped at the waist and just a velvet vest underneath. it worked so well. It was dressed up without being completely and utterly over the top, and I thought it was gorgeous. I really did.
Yeah, this was a nice look. I think yeah, he looked great all throughout Dawn to Dusk. You had a couple here, Cheryl. Walk us through your picks.
Yeah, I really like the look in Manila. So they were all wearing local designer when they were in the Philippines, which is great because I'm pretty sure it's because Roy spent some time in the Philippines, so he's got
Mm.
friends in the fashion industry over there. So Wusong was wearing this short tweed jacket by a local designer, and I think it just suited him so well because you don't see him wear, you know, colors like that often, right? It's usually you
Right.
see him in like solid colors like
Yeah,
black, white, or red. But he looked really good in this short jacket. I mean, it looked a little bit more casual than the more, the darker tones that they were wearing throughout the Dawn to Dusk tour. And yeah, and I recall very clearly, like at the end of the concert in Manila, he was, Wusong loves to throw like t-shirts to the crowd, right? And like the guy took off his short jacket because he knew it would get in the way, or maybe he didn't want to like tear the sleeves or something. And he took it off, and everyone in the arena apparently was screaming, and because he just really wanted to throw the shirt like far so that people at the back could catch it. So yeah, I think this look was one of the more memorable ones on the tour. There was
Yeah. What colors are going through this jacket? Sometimes it was hard to really find the best photographs to
yeah,
convey these outfits, but what are the colors,
it
Cheryl?
looked like a brown beige color
Mm.
to it. So yeah, and he really looked really good that day. And you know, I prefer Wusong with his hair back, but because he was in this outfit, the hair being down and like with the slight curls, I think it really worked very well for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think most of the pics we have, his hair's back. Now this one is nice because it's not that like poofy
Hmm.
and it's not too far down in his eyes. So I'm loving that. Now this I think picture doesn't do it full justice, but this was the best photograph we could find. Walk us through your second pick.
So this photo, yeah, you're right. It doesn't really show the details on the jacket, but it's a lace jacket. So this was the first time I saw Wusong in person. This was my first concert for the Rose, and I could not take my eyes off this man because he just looked really amazing. Again, it's the black and white look, very classic, almost romantic because it's like, not everyone can carry off white lace. You might look like a granny, but it's Wusong, and his makeup on that day was just really, really nice. Like he had really like nice defined eyes, and they did like the shading and all. I really couldn't stop staring at him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he pulls this off really, really well. It's too bad we couldn't get a picture that maybe showed the detail a little bit better.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on to Hajuni. This was my pick. I think because I liked the texture of this jacket. Now, on this tour, I feel like Dawn to Dusk, Roy put him a lot in jackets. Um, but this one I really, really liked. Just like very simplistic, but I just kind of like the texture and the detail on that.
it couldn't have been
Um,
easy to
Kelly,
play.
yours.
I was just going to say it couldn't have been easy to play drums in a jacket though, which is one of the
Oh, I
reasons I
didn't
am
think about
kind of
that.
surprised. Well, I mean, you have to be so ambidextrous when you're playing drums, and obviously you've got a lot of reach. And I mean, we've all worn suit jackets before in the past. You can't very easily extend your arms in them, which is why possibly some of them
That's
look ever
true.
so slightly bigger than they should be. So he's actually got the room to move without splitting them. Now, this look on him, I thought was
Hmm.
gorgeous. There is something just so lovely about the defined lines of this. And again, we'll pull in the hair with this one. I think his hair and his makeup were on point with this as
Hmm.
well. But yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it was a great look.
I think Cheryl, this was your pick, right?
Yeah, I mean it looks like a very simple suit, but then there's just that little accent where that's like that little strip that runs across his throat. It's
Yeah,
just so
that scarf.
beautiful,
Yeah,
and this part
Yeah.
is
really well.
really nice. Like Hajun, he just looks like an angel here.
Yeah, I think that detail across the neck is lovely. Let's move on to Taegyam. I love he had some great looks throughout the Dawn to Dusk
Yeah,
tour. He did a lot. Roy did a lot with him with kind of this undershirt and then a button down that's open over it. We'll see that a lot. I think red is his color as well.
yeah,
So I picked this one from Budapest. I think this red against the black, that contrast, I'm loving. He had great hair. This like white hair he had in this era really suited him, and I like it down kind of messy in his face. I like that he matches his guitar. I just think this was super sexy. I'm loving this. Kelly, let's go to yours.
So again, this is from London. So another one of my photos. You're getting to see my collection of photos. This is terrible. Again, very similar to you. So it is a button-down shirt and the vest underneath. And I think this is the perfect sort of cut for him. He's got those great shoulders and everything else. And I think for somebody who's running around the stage like he did in Dust to Dawn, I mean, he was a bit more static on this last tour. But it allowed him a certain amount of freedom to move around as well. And I just thought it was a great look. Now, may I please note as well, the shirt went for a Burton about 30 minutes into the set. There was a hell of a lot of screaming went on. But yeah, it was such a fantastic look on him.
And I like kind of what they did with his hair in this one where it's parted and it's got a little bit down, but then a little bit of poof. I'm loving the necklace. I think that's also an OHT necklace, which actually I think I own that necklace. Um, but that looked great. All right, Cheryl, how about yours?
Same thing, with that look. Just a very classic black look, all black, tank top and pants. But then it's the accessories that just make the look complete, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's very striking because I mean throughout the tour he had blonde hair, right? So with him with the blonde hair, the chunky accessories and the red bass guitar, it just looks like a rock star.
Yeah. Yeah, total rock star look here.
It
Yeah,
had
he looked great. Again, love
it
that
had that
hair.
it had that slight punk aesthetic to it, which was really nice to see. Because it's something that you don't
Mm,
necessarily see with them. And he's the guy who can
mm.
carry it. He's got the build and everything else to be able to pull that look off. And I love a guy in black, so I mean I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to Dojun. Okay, I picked this one, ladies. Okay, sorry. I might Kelly knows I have this weird mind, Cheryl. And
She's gonna
so I tend to pour Dojun. I hope he never listens to this podcast because he's going to think I'm a weirdo. I always like throw him in these weird fantasy situations that I have. I don't know why. But I am in an episode of Mad Men and I'm taking him his coffee cuz like can we just say this whole 19 like 40s, 50s, this hair, I love the part. I love this, I don't know, three-piece suit or whatever with the suit with the vest and the tie. I was totally digging this. I don't know if anybody else hates it, but
Oh no. I I
I
love
was
a man
digging this.
in a three-piece suit. I have no problems with this at all. I am so glad you said Mad Men because for a minute or two I thought you were going to say secretary, and I'm thinking, oh, here we come. I'm going to have to get the safe word out again. Um, but no, if you know the film, you know the film. But no, actually, I think this is a great look on him, and it's that thing again. He suits casual very well, and he suits dressed up to the nines exceptionally well. But when it's in between, oh dear God, no. But this, oh, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, because when you said he like looks kind of like he dresses like a 60-year-old man,
Yeah.
here to me, this is age appropriate that we joked about before. Like he
Oh,
looks
definitely.
sharp.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheryl, what's your thought on this one?
I like it because you can tell that it's a really well made suit. And, I'm pretty sure when they were doing the fittings for the tour, I can visually see, like, I can see Roy kind of like pinning it down and like
Mm,
making like marks to kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
where do I take it in a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure he's that type of detail. He's very into the details. If
Yes.
he's into fashion, and we all know that Roy like sews some of their outfits as well, right? So I
Exactly.
right.
think he really made sure that this suit kind of fit Dojun perfectly.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, let's move on to your pick. What a good pick this is.
Well, I mean, shirt and tie. Gotta love a shirt and tie. I like the fact that we've gone slightly dress up, but we're slightly rock with this. So, I mean,
Yes.
there is definitely, if anybody is of the emo persuasion, you know what a red tie's for. That is a perfect look, and then combine it with a pair of leather trousers. Yeah, sorry, a gentleman in a pair of leather trousers. We will not discuss, but by God, he looks good in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved this. I thought he looked I like you what you said. It's like kind of dress up but then rock star as
Yeah,
well. Cheryl, I think did you have oh no, there were two
Yeah,
shows were kind of
and it's
similar.
similar, and we're talking about the same pair of trousers for sure.
yes,
Yes.
they
I
were
Yeah.
think
good
it looks like the
trousers.
same pair of trousers, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and we're seeing. I mean, it's three different looks with that same pair of trousers, but
Mhm.
it just works on him because,
yeah,
like you said, he's usually in slacks. I don't know. Do you call that slacks? I call them men's slacks, like the black pants,
Mm.
like the salaryman pants.
yeah,
And yeah, so that look makes him look old, right? But
yeah,
this really fits him really well, and I like that he's kind of pulling it off in three different ways, like three different looks, right? You see him, with the shirt and the red tie, and then he's in this all black shirt and pants look. And what I really like is, in Copenhagen where he was wearing the t-shirt, the Beatles t-shirt. We all know how much they love the Beatles, so this was again very simple look, but it was just paired with the right pair of shoes. You can see those were very nice dress shoes, right, with the
yeah,
pointy toes. Yeah, and yeah, I think he just looks good in casual.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, he looks great. Okay. My favorite part, the roasting.
Of course,
Now,
it's your favorite
this
part.
tour had some this tour had some beautiful styling as we just waffled on about Roy. But Roy, buddy, everybody has a bad day. And you know what? You are no different. Here's my first pick for for Uzong. Now, I'm interested to hear, Cheryl and Kelly, your opinions on this. Especially you, Cheryl, as you're a fashion person. I am not a fashion person. But you know what I didn't like about this? I didn't like this really cinched like waistcoat at like cropped. Maybe that's what I mean. Like I didn't like the length of this waistcoat. I don't think he's not a tall person. I mean, he's not super short, but he's not tall either. And I felt like this made him look shorter. Like it didn't help his height. And then these pants. Oh, I hate these pants.
We've seen him wear that several times, right? And I don't think it was just during the tour. I think we still see it make an appearance from time to time whenever they have like appearances or interviews. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this pair of pants because if I remember correctly, you can't really see it in the picture, but they're probably like slightly flared at the bottom.
Mm.
They're really long. I remember them like kind of like brushing the floor as he walks. So yeah, I don't like this pants as well.
I mean, the man is same clothes every day, so it's not a surprise that a lot of these things he just keeps wearing and wearing. All right, Kelly, we're gonna move on to your pick here.
Before we move on, I just want to upset you two and say, actually, I quite like pinstripe trousers.
Yeah, but do you like those particular pinstripe trousers?
I don't mind those pinstripe trousers. I'm sorry, but I
Really?
don't mind those pinstripe trousers. I'm okay with those. Now, Paris. Right, I don't even know where to begin with this. Yes, he looks princely and everything else. Well, so many of you think. I think it looks over the top. It is too much. It's too accessorized. And how shall I put this politely? He looks like Louis XIV, the Sun King's courtesan.
Stop it.
He does. I mean the problem is you can't get away with that amount of detailing with that belt and that band of necklaces. It's too much. He literally, I mean, no word of a lie, my nan used to have a toy poodle called Pedro, and he used to have, God bless his stuffy cotton socks, and he used to have a Diamante collar, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. And I'm not, no,
Oh,
it's
stop it.
it's too much. I think you could have probably got away with it if the belt wasn't there and the belt was just a black belt, maybe a black patent belt. But the fact is, you've got this silver belt that is very silver and literally just chops him in half. So you've got this very solid bottom, and then you get to the top, and it's just like a Christmas tree that's been decorated by somebody's kids, and they've just decorated one part of it. You know, like when you get the decorations out, and you've got that one sort of person with you that's decorating the tree, and they just think it just all goes on the front, and that's not how you decorate a tree. That's kind of how he looks to me. It just, no, I'm not a fan. I know you two probably love
Cheryl,
it.
what's your thought on this? I didn't think this was bad, but what's your perspective?
I think it was deliberately over the top because it's Paris, right? And I'm okay with it actually. I don't think it's too much, like compared to the ruffles that were on Do Jun's shirt.
Well, the ruffles
Yeah.
will never be
No, this is
forgiven.
okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, it was just
Yeah,
too.
I don't mind it either. Yeah, maybe like you said, Cheryl, Paris does always seem to be a little over the top.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mind that one. All right, Cheryl, what is
Okay,
happening
pants
with
then.
this shirt?
Do that
Oh
same
my God, are these the same pants?
difference.
Wait, are these the pants that
Yeah.
I hated from Seoul?
Mhm.
I'm just noticing that. Same clothes every day, Woosung.
But this time with a ruffles, like with ruffles again.
Can't,
I don't think we like ruffles very much, do we?
no.
Oh.
But don't you think
Because
the ruffles
this is
don't you think the ruffles on this are just a bit too much? They look like, I'm trying to think of the correct way of describing it. You know the sort of pants that you get when it's christening time and you take, the kids go for christening and you have like your lovely little white gown and then you have the ruffle pants on underneath. That's kind of what they remind me of. It's like those kind of ruffly pants, like shorts that go on
I
like a christening costume. No, I can't.
I I think the man looks like he's missing his mariachi guitar and he's with his mariachi band and
Very
he just
true.
needs a
Very
sombrero and a mariachi guitar.
true. But I want to see the moustache as well.
This was hideous.
yeah,
Oh, this
this
was
is
hideous.
terrible, and you can tell like the sleeves, like he's got it kind of probably rolled up a little bit, but it does look like it's a little short for him. And again, like with
Yeah.
those pants, it just makes him look really short, like his torso, like really short.
Yeah.
And he's got
Right.
this,
Yeah.
strange picture. Like he's got this strange smile as well.
Yeah, it does not flatter his shape. You're right, Cheryl. And yeah, okay, let's move on to Hajuni. This was a weird jacket. What is happening here, Roy? What is going on? This is awful.
It's not good.
Yeah, this like color uh, yeah. Yeah.
It
I
looks
think
like
we we went on the theme of the jackets because I went this one and you went this one, Kelly. Or no,
this
sorry.
isn't a jacket.
I think it's another jacket in the next one.
This isn't a jacket. This is a jumper, and this is Auntie Ethel's bingo jumper. The one that she gets out on a Saturday night when she's picked up by the Evergreen bus. And literally, she's like, I'll put a bit of pedaz on because it's got a bit of sparkle on. I can sit there and have my spritz. It's terrible, this. This is terrible. Oh my God. I mean, literally, Roy, why did you do this? Is the dirtiest thing you've ever done to these guys. No, this is terrible. And it's batwing as well. May I please point out this jumper, to top it all off, is a batwing jumper as well.
What does that mean, a bat wing?
A batwing, so you'll have a batwing, the actual armhole starts sort of about mid-torso. So you actually get a fuller, voluminous sleeve. And that's a batwing. So, I mean,
I gotcha.
Movement while you're playing the drums. But as I said, he looks like Auntie Ethel. I mean, the guy's trying to finish himself off by hitting himself in the face with a drumstick on that photograph, for crying out loud. Even he hates it.
This was pure hideousness.
It was atrocious.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I feel like this picture doesn't do justice enough of how bad this looked on him.
I think actually what we needed a video here of this bit of him actually drumming, because every time he moved, just a different level of hideousness was unlocked. It was like some form of video game. It's like every time the light hit it, you just got another horror. And it was just like pink, green, orange, pink, green, orange. And it was like, oh my God, what the hell is he wearing and why did you do that to him? No, it's terrible. No,
we need to move on. I can't be participating in this much roasting on my Hajuni. I don't like this. All right, this was yours, I think, Cheryl.
Yeah, this is mine. So this again, it's just too much going on. Like, Wusong kind of carries off this type of look probably a little bit better because he like experimental looks look better on Wusong. This,
Yeah.
I mean, with that round scallop collar and with the with what do you call this, the leather tassel necklace.
Oh, a bolo tie. That's what I call it in America.
Yeah, it's just too much.
No.
And in the picture, if you look at his face, he looks sulking. He's like, no, I don't like it too.
I don't like it. I don't think that pixie collar, that rounded collar, really suits anybody. And it kind of reminds me of like Catholic school uniforms. It's that type of. It's almost like a girl's blouse type thing that you used to hate anyway. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I'm not really liking this big belt buckle he's got on either. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's to round up the cowboy look, isn't it, I suppose?
I guess. Yeah, it makes the bolo tie fit. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Taegyum. I think we both agreed on this one, Kelly. Yeah. This jacket was terrible. Oh, no, this was a sweep. I'm sorry. Cheryl, you picked this too.
Yeah. This, no.
It's just
horrid.
I don't think the jacket was well made as well. You can see, like, I don't even know if it's a men's jacket.
You're right. Like, do you think it's purposeful that the sleeves are that short to have that much of his shirt peeking out? Was that on purpose?
Probably. I don't know. There might be, it probably is supposed to like kind of like peek out, with the white the cuffs. But it's just a really badly made jacket. I've kind of got that zoomed out like now to just kind of look at it and to top it off, right? I mean, it's already a very busy jacket. He's also wearing a black tie.
Right.
So it's just, yeah.
I mean, you two have seen this. You've seen The Sound of Music, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is it the Von Trapp family children's school uniform?
It does. It does. It does. It's like that tight check does not look favorable
Yeah.
on him, I think.
No, not at all. I don't think it really suits anybody, to be perfectly honest. He's just missing his straw boater.
I can't imagine. Okay, the worst is yet to come. Oh, Dojun, bless your heart. We do love you on this. Okay, these were my picks. There's so much awfulness happening in this outfit. This like disco shiny weird shirt with these checked pants or trousers, sorry, I keep saying pants. It's just absolutely horrid. I feel like he looks in the one on the left, he looks like some cheap like and you know what, this outfit probably costs $5,000. That's the funny thing about fashion sometimes. But like it looks cheap to me. He looks like he's like this like I don't know, like he's trying to sell you something and he's on an infomercial. I don't know.
I saw this one in person, and I mean, and in person, it kind of had this holographic look about it, which was cool with all the lights on. But it looked like a cheap disco ball at one point. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, I didn't like this as well. And it looks like a costume, you know, like
Yeah,
at the children's concert, and they put you in all these
yeah.
like really loud looking prints that clash. Yeah, it looks like a children's concert.
Yeah. Oh, so terrible. But I think yours, Kelly, tops this one, in my opinion.
Yeah. That shirt. Well, it's not even a shirt, is it? It's that blouse. Now, this blouse has done the rounds. I think at some point, I think everybody's worn it apart from Tay. And the only reason Tay can't wear it is because he can't fit in it, basically. What the hell is it with Pussy Bow, blouses, and Roy? I mean, literally, the man has been obsessed with them. I know, I completely understand. At this time, there was a Gucci campaign that was all about men in pussy blouses, and I mean, stick Jared Leto in one, and I mean, the man looks amazing. But yeah, I mean, if you've got a full beard and Jesus hair and everything else, you can kind of pull it off a little bit better than clean cut guys. And that's before we even get on to goddamn awful material and pattern.
Yeah, I'm with you on Roy and this style blouse.
Oh, no.
Roy, if you're ever listening to this podcast, dude, what's up? Why are you obsessed with that?
No.
We better be careful, Kelly. We want Roy on the show someday, so we better not take him down too far.
You know I am a member of the I Love Roy Club. You know I'm a member of that. I am a card-carrying member of that.
I'm a member of the I Love Roy Club too. Remember I said I would start a fandom name. Didn't I say we call ourselves the Backers? And you were like,
and
no.
I said, no, for God's sake, no, we are not calling ourselves the Backers. Please step away from any word that sounds anything like that. We are not doing that. We are not going down that route because it's weird for a start. But yeah, those blouses. Ugh.
You know what else I thought with this picture? His hair is styled really straight up and high. And it looks like, what's that one bird, that tropical bird that has like the
cockatoo?
Yes, he looks like a cockatoo.
Well, you're thinking that, and I'm thinking something about Mary. I mean, come on.
Oh, Cheryl, give us your assessment on this one.
Yeah, this look is just not good on any of them. I don't think it's just Dojun.
It's awful. It's awful.
All right, let's move to yours, Cheryl.
Yeah, I don't like this. Again, it's just this costume look. It's just terrible. Yeah. And the hat. I don't know what's going on with that hat.
Cheryl, they put this man in this hat way too many times. And nobody told them it looks horrible on him.
Like, who's that?
It's not going to be the first picture we're going to show of him in this hat.
Yeah.
No, it won't be the last
It's not
either.
flattering.
I think
Yeah.
hats are something that you've got to be very careful with, and some people can carry them brilliantly. And he could probably get away with a fedora, but I'm really not so sure about a round brim hat like.
No, it's so unflattering on him.
This is Editor Kel. As you'd expect, we ended up waffling a lot longer than we expected. So join us next week for part 2 on our deep dive into the Roses fashion faux pas and un coup de métro. Now, Anne's going to do her best to make me swear in the Would You Rather segment.
All right, Kelly, that was fun. That wraps up part 1 of Into the Wardrobe. I can't wait for part 2, but let's go into our humor segment for this week. So we were laughing off camera because I told you I thought I had a funny one this week, but you told me you don't trust me.
I don't trust you. I trust you about as far as I could drop kick you. I love you dearly,
All
woman,
right,
but I don't trust you.
This one might be more evil for the members of the Rose than for you and I.
Okay,
maybe I'm
fair
being
enough.
evil to them,
I'm down
and
with
not
that.
you
Okay,
this week.
yeah.
You're down with that, aren't you?
I'm down with
Okay,
that.
so
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
your
I'm
would you
down with
rather.
that.
Would you rather take a jazzercise class with the members of the Rose? Now, do you know what jazzercise is? Do you think our listeners and viewers all know jazzercise?
You've just got all those really horrible 80s movies now with everybody just wearing lycra.
Yes!
Leg
Yes! Yes, they are. Like total Olivia Newton-John physical 80s music video. Does anybody remember that?
Oh, God.
The members of the Rose are in spandex and headbands.
Hold on a minute.
Spandex and headbands.
I need to gouge my eyes out. I can't. I mean, don't give them this idea, because you know damn well the next video, those bastards are walking out wearing lycra. No.
Who do we think looks best in spandex?
Nobody looks good in spandex. Nobody looks good in spandex. I can tell you that, man. It doesn't matter what show you are, nobody looks good in it.
Oh my God, Sammy's poor little chicken legs. Oh my God, his poor little chicken legs in spandex.
Sorry, Sam. She said it, not me. It's her. She said it. The thought may have gone through my head, and I tried to think about it, tried to get it out of my head very, very quickly. She said it.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. I'm
Nobody
so glad he doesn't listen to this podcast.
I am very, 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 very
anyway.
glad that he doesn't listen to it. Yeah, I'm very, very glad about that. Now,
I feel like I think Hajun would look good in some spandex. I'm thinking he could rock.
I keep telling you, nobody looks good in spandex. It's lycra, darling. It's lycra. It's lycra by Dupont. Let's get it right.
It's lycra.
It's lycra by Dupont.
I feel like I can totally see Dojun coming out with the headband. He's got sweatbands on too on his wrist.
The worst thing is,
I can super into jazzercise.
Was it John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis? What film is it? And there's a jazzercise class with those two in the film.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh God, what's that one? That's going to drive me mad.
I feel like we need to find it and insert a clip in this.
We really don't, because all I just remember is feeling very sort of cringy about the entire thing. No.
I think Dojun would be so into this jazzercise class. Okay, so
he would.
So
that's
here's
true.
the options. So that's option 1. Jazzercise with the Rose, or pole dancing class with the Rose. Now, for pole dancing, I feel like you need a strong core.
Oh,
Who do
exceptionally
we think,
strong core. You need a really, really, really strong cut, and you need unbelievable thighs to be able to do
Ooh.
that.
Who thinks that's
How can you make everything filth? How can you just, honestly, he's just like, you just drop into this pervy thing every time. You're like, it's just like, no, don't do it. No.
This is when it's too bad we're video, because now all of our facial expressions cannot be hidden.
I know. I spend most of my time rolling my eyes at you, covering my face, and doing a Cookie Monster routine. I'm well aware of that. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Who's got the
ooh.
strong thighs?
I mean, generally speaking, though, for pole dancing, you don't wear a lot either because you can't have the friction. I mean, I know people that
Are we?
I know people that do it for a living.
Are we back to the rose and loincloths?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, some of them wear less than what's in a loincloth. Oh dear God, no. I think waxing would need to be involved.
I think the members of the rose got to get some waxing going on. We can't have a forest in our faces.
I just don't want to think about that. Anne, for God's sake, woman.
I feel like, okay, let's break down the members here. Taegyum is obviously the one in the gym the most. Him and
yeah, so I mean,
seem to exercise very regularly.
In theory, he would have the upper body strength to be able to get himself up a pole, and probably the core strength to hold himself there. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to some content we've seen about their strength comparisons most recently. Do we remember the photosynthesis episode 7, where they went to the arcade and they did the punch machine? Do you remember how weak Dojun and Sammy both were in the punching? Like, do you think Sammy can get his little self up that pole?
You see, the worst thing is, all I've got now is Fireman Sam going through my head.
What is Fireman Sam? What is that?
Oh my God. I need to educate you on the cartoons and stuff of my youth. Fireman Sam was a little animated guy, and he was a fireman called Sam. You know, and he had to slide up and, slide down a pole. So I've just got visions of him sliding down a pole, but not sliding up a pole. This sounds terrible.
I feel like Sammy would try to get himself up there, and then he would just go, nee.
I can't say anything because that is exactly what had happened to me.
I know.
You not have the ability to do this.
It's not like I could do any better.
No.
All right. So which are we doing with the guys?
I don't want to do either. I mean, literally, I'd be in agony.
Okay.
I'd be in agony.
Okay, you know me though.
I
think jazzercise sounds fun.
I'd have core muscles afterwards because I'd just literally be on the floor dying with laughter or whatever it was. I mean, it'd be hilariously funny, whichever one it was.
I know. I can't even imagine even trying to get on that pole because I have no core strength. But I'm all about putting on some Lycra, get my sweatbands going, get my 80s, things happening and do some jazzercise.
There's part of that, and I can just see them shuffling out wearing the Lycra. And you know damn well it'd all look like target practice because every single one of them would do what every single man does if they're ever put in Lycra. And they'd all be stood there looking like they were trying to stop a goal going into a football. It'd all be very much like this.
You know what it makes me think of? That Epic High episode where they did the ballet and the guys from Epic High came out in the white ballet Lycra outfits. Do you remember? And they did that exact pose. That would be the rose.
Yeah. I think, generally speaking, that'd be any guy, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, obviously it's lycra, so you can't get away with it being anything sort of neutral. It's got to be truly hideous colours as well. I mean, we know the guys are down for hideous colours every now and again.
I want them in neon. We're doing
Yeah,
our
generally
jazzercise.
speaking.
They're in neon lycra outfits.
I will not admit to the fact
Neon green.
there are photographs of me when I was younger definitely wearing lycra from head to foot, but that's because we were forced into wearing dance clothing.
Hey, that was popular at a period of time. That was high fashion.
No, it wasn't high fashion. It was never high fashion. Jesus Christ, it was atrocious. No.
Okay, so I had my pick. I'm doing jazzercise. What are you picking?
For sheer shits and giggles, I think they ought to do pole dancing. Sheer
oh my
shits
god,
and
I think we
giggles.
should. Okay, the rose, if you're listening, because I'm always giving you great ideas. I feel like your focus for season 2 of photosynthesis needs to be taking all of our crazy ass would you rather scenarios and doing them. You guys could do a jazzercise class. You could do pole dancing. What are some of the other crazy ones I've put them in?
Oh, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful ones. Zombie Apocalypse, to this day, is still one of my favourites.
Zombie Apocalypse is classic. That's going down in the record books in the Hall of Fame of the Would You Rathers. Oh my God. All right. Well, Kelly's going to do pole dancing with the Rose. I'm going to get out my sweatbands and get the jazzercise going on. Tell us, listeners, which you would pick. Join us next time. We're going to wrap up with part 2 of this fun episode of Into the Wardrobe. We continue to rate the best and worst looks. We're going to hit on music videos and select who has the best and worst personal style overall. You don't want to miss it. Please rate our podcast. Leave us comments about this episode. We'd love to hear your feedback, particularly about our new format. Follow us on social media on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. We are at KROK_cast all across the board.
Click here to subscribe.
Follow us at krock.cast@gmail.com and check out our website, www.krockcast.com. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.